the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you and welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW from my Second on Spirit Home studio, brought to you by Linda Shepard at Pinnacle Realty for all of your residential and commercial real estate needs. Give Linda a call, 989-275. I did it again, 989-295-7713, 989-295-7713. You can stop in and visit her at the Point, M46 and M47, where you'll also find Cafe 476 and its delicious soups and foods and beverages. Format for this morning. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we're going to talk to Dr. Kevin McCormac from Northwood University. He is a supply chain professor. At 11 o'clock on Focus, Auburn Outreach will be our focus this morning. But for this first hour, it's open phones, whatever you'd like to chat about. I want to start with something other than Russia, Ukraine, politics, and all of that good stuff. I want to start with what hopefully could be good news for salaried pensioners from Delphi that lost their pensions after 2009 when General Motors went into an agreement with the government, and then the Delphi pensions from the salaried folks were placed in the hands of the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation, PBGC, and they lost quite a bit of their pensions. And at the same time, the union workers, those working the lines, did not lose their pensions. And the salaried workers have taken it all the way to the Supreme Court with no luck. Appeals court turned it down. The Supreme Court refused to look at it. But there is hope, because a nonpartisan, don't hear that often, a nonpartisan package has been presented to Congress, which would order the Treasury Department to make those pensions whole. And it is a number of folks, including Dan Kildee. The proposed legislation will be introduced in the House by Representative Kildee of Flint Township and Tim Ryan of Ohio, and Republican U.S. Representative Mike Turner of Ohio, and in the Senate by Rob Portman, a Republican from Ohio. And it may represent the best chance the retirees have to date of getting their pensions restored. So, listen, I just think that they were not treated fairly. We had a number of people calling back in the day, in the at the time of the GM agreements and all of that, and at the Delphi bankruptcy, we had a number of people calling who were salaried, who were concerned about their pensions, and rightfully so. So this would be a significant move to circumvent the Supreme Court failing to hear the case, and would restore the pensions via the Treasury. So let's hope for success for these folks. They've deserved it. They earned it. They worked all their lives and earned their pensions, and then they had them stripped out from under them because of the financial. If it might have been a different story if the line workers, the UAW workers, also had their pensions reduced the same exact way. Then you could say everybody was treated fairly. You might not have liked it, but you could say it was treated fairly. But to take one class of workers and say, oh, yeah, you get everything, and the other class of workers, you get nothing, it doesn't seem to balance in my world. So I hope the legislation passes. It is bipartisan, And I would imagine, without much trepidation, Biden would sign it, since both Donald Trump and Joe Biden during the 2020 election supported the notion of restoring those pensions. So if it gets through Congress, it will be signed by Biden. Keep our fingers crossed for you. All right. As long as we're talking about the auto industry, Ford has announced, as we mentioned earlier this morning, it's going to restructure itself into 3 different business units. We're dividing up the company. This is Ford CEO Jim Farley. 3 separate automotive business units that include its existing commercial arm as well as 2 new ones. The commercial arm stays as it is. Ford Blue, which will focus on internal combustion engine cars, and Ford Model E, which will develop the battery electric vehicles and connectivity. It's designed to make the 118-year-old automaker more competitive against Tesla, which is the biggest electric vehicle competitor in the industry, as well as others, Farley told the Free Press. I don't quite understand why it makes it any easier to compete, but then again, I'm not this crack chief executive of some billion-dollar company, so I don't know. But that's what they're going to do. 3 separate units, 3 separate business units within the company. And it's going to be a battle royal. The electric vehicle market is already beginning to show signs of intense competitiveness. Everybody is jumping on board with electric vehicles. You're starting to see lots of ads for them, from everything from the less expensive ones to the very expensive ones. General Motors has announced that eventually it will have an Equinox type vehicle in the $20,000 range rather than the 40s and 50s and things we see now. And, I think as battery capacity is expanded so that range is expanded and the price comes down to where you can buy cars today, and the charging stations get built, that's the other side of the coin, we're going to see a huge jump in electric vehicle sales. Huge jump. But again, those things have to come together, in my world anyway. I'm not ready for one because I want more range and don't want to spend that money. But you give me a vehicle that's priced competitively with today's combustion engine cars and gives me the range I'm looking for, then I might be interested. And you have to know the price of gasoline pushing $4, and who knows where it's going to end up. There's going to be a lot of people looking at electrics. Be interesting to see where it goes. What would it take for you to buy an electric car? Would you buy one? First of all, let's start with that question. Would you buy an electric car? What would it take? What would the performance values of that car have to be? Give us a call. 989-752-6111. That's our number, 989-752-6111. Good from almost anywhere because they don't charge you long distance and roaming for the most part. We'll take a break, come back. It's open phone edition of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW.
Welcome to retirement. Now, replace your paycheck. To local financial coach Kevin Ray, this is what retirement planning is all about.
Building monthly paychecks, and how you build those monthly paychecks is going to determine how well in retirement you're going to enjoy it. So sit down and build a good framework, and it starts with
framework with Kevin and the team at Insight Folios today by calling 888-885-PLAN. That's 888-885-7526.
I vaccinate because I want to protect my daughter.
I vaccinate because these diseases can be deadly.
Because of vaccines, we tend to think of diseases like whooping cough and measles as things of the past, but they aren't. Michigan's children still get them and pass them on. Get the whole story at ivaccinate.org.
I vaccinate because I got the facts.
Sponsored by the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, the Franny Strong Foundation, and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter. Germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply. And then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Global investors are looking at crude oil prices at the highest level since 2008 because of expected disruptions caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And there's an encouraging update on the job market. There were 215,000 people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time last week, a decline. The number of continuing claims, those still receiving benefits, rose slightly to 1.4 million. The Labor Department releases the February employment report tomorrow. Mercedes-Benz Group and exports of vehicles to Russia. Both say they will stop production of cars there until further notice. BJ's Wholesale Club is reporting a mixed quarter. Its sales increased, but not as much as Wall Street was expecting. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
After 9/11, Saul Martinez couldn't wait to enlist. In Iraq, his vehicle was hit by a projectile improvised explosive device. Saul survived, but he lost both legs, suffered a traumatic brain injury, and lost 2 close friends. Saul now lives in a Towers Foundation, which gave him back his independence despite his severe physical challenges. Help heroes like Saul. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Tuesday, March 8th at the Bay Valley Resort and Conference Center in Bay City at 5:50. And stop smoking seminar at 8 p.m. For more info, go to markpatrickseminars.com.
Annette Glenn, working to restore voter trust. Annette Glenn voted to require a photo ID to vote. Take dead people off the rolls. Make it illegal to connect internet. Force the Secretary of State to obey state law. Paid for by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
This is a test. WSGW is conducting a test of the... This is only a test. This is a test of the emergency alert system on WSGW. Equipment that can quickly warn you during emergencies is being tested. WSGW serves Saginaw. along with the surrounding area. This concludes this test of the emergency alert system on WSGW.
Hi, this is Mike Avery, and here's what's coming up this week on Outdoor Magazine. First, Mr. Angler Quest, Brad Dupuy. Then Ted Harpham of Dart and Archery. In hour number 2, we're talking turkey with turkey hunting guide Chet Lohr, plus Kristen Phillips of the DNR checks in. And in hour number 3, Michigan fly fishing icon Jack Ford. Listen Saturday mornings at 6 and Sundays at 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you. Art Lewis Show for this Thursday morning. Open phones, whatever's on your mind. Saginaw Bay City, 752-6111, toll free, 866-790 WSGW. As the conflict continues in the Ukraine, the International Criminal Court is investigating whether Russia's committed war crimes in the Ukraine. They have to investigate that? I would think it'd be obvious. But, hey, listen, what do I know? The investigation as to whether Russia and its president, Vladimir Putin, have committed war crimes. And this has been urged by a coalition of 38 countries led by the United Kingdom. It was opened Wednesday, the investigation. But what are they going to do about it? You know, I don't know the answer there. What if the tribunal or the investigative body says, yep, Russia committed war crimes. Yep, Vladimir Putin committed war crimes. What are they going to do about it? Nothing seems to faze this guy. Nothing at all. They've seized a port city now, and they're getting ready to surround a second one. They're working to encircle Kyiv. They've already taken over one of the other cities, Korsun, in the Ukraine. I don't think this guy is going to be satisfied till he owns the country. That's a shame. The unintended consequence, though, is he now faces a united world against him. For the most part, I mean, at the United Nations the other day, there was the censuring of Russia's actions. And nobody voted against it, but there were 34 abstentions, I think, including China and India. I would say India. Well, they are to some degree, I guess, dependent on Russia for certain things, energy and what have you. So they tended to stay out of the fray, if you will. But anyway, it's going to be interesting. And of course, it's led to it. And Biden was correct about that. We're going to pay the price. We're going to sacrifice. Caller had said, let me see here. I got a note here. They heard bits and pieces of gas prices you talked about this morning and wondered if he heard you say Saudi Arabia was increasing production. Does that mean we will increase imports from the Middle East again? Well, yes, first of all, I did hear yesterday that they plan to increase production, and I think it's at the end of March or early April or something like that. No, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to increase imports, but what it does mean is if they pump more oil into the world market, then the price goes down because supply and demand. And, that's the key element is pumping more oil, which we should be doing too. But I'd heard a story yesterday about the fact that we have a lot of leases available that are already held by the oil companies, but it takes time. It will take them time to actually start pumping from those facilities if they build them. And there have been enough constraints put on them that it's difficult. But no, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to import more oil. It just means the world price will moderate. The fact that we're importing it all is baffling to me, since we were a net producer, actually shipping oil out because we had more than we needed. But that's changed. Too many restrictions and what have you. So it'll be interesting to see how long these gas prices stay up where they are. I mean, if they're almost $4 now, it's almost a given it's going to go over $4 at the current price of oil, because if oil keeps going up. Yesterday, I think I heard 119 a barrel, and the potential today for 130 a barrel. You'll find it at the pumps. Originally they were saying, oh yeah, well, this crisis will mean a 30-cent increase at the pump. We're way above that. We're getting 30-cent jumps at a time. And, the other side of the coin is, and it's kind of a real paradox in some ways, the pandemic seems to be lessening. We as a society, and I'm talking about the United States, want to get out more, do things more. And at the same time, the cost of doing it is going through the roof. Think about it. The cost of energy, gasoline at the pump. It's a couple of bucks over where it was just a few years ago. Go to the grocery store. You want to go on a picnic? Fine. Be prepared to pay a lot more for the items you take on that picnic. Everywhere you look, it's costing more. I think what's going to happen is it's going to, some ways, delay the wholesome, solid economy that we all want to see, because we're going to pull back. You tell me I have to pay $4.25 a gallon of gas, I'm not driving as much. You tell me I have to pay twice as much for a steak, I'm probably not eating steak as much. I'm probably not buying as much because of the pricing. So even though we had an economy that was beginning to rebound, we're liable to put the brakes on, if we haven't already to some degree. So here we are at this time in our lives when we're all scratching our heads going, what do we do? How do we do it? And again, you go back to politics. When we go to the polls in November, for the most part, we vote our pocketbook. That's not good news for the Democrats. Not right now. All right, we're going to take a break, come back. We'll get to our phones when we return.
This is Rachel from the RC Marketplace, located at 203 South Washington, right on Riverfront, Saginaw. Come warm up inside with our small businesses ready to serve you. From global flavors like Falafel Hut, Saigon Sandwich, and some Louisiana flair with Creole Queens, to American favorites like Divine Taste of Chicago, Macon Bacon, and now open Big O Burger and Barbecue. Get delicious treats with Delicious Sweets Bake Shop, Craven Cookies, and Mini Donut Delight Factory. Need a gift? Shop at Purple Sage Bead Store, Flowers by Romans, and coming soon, we welcome Thrive Creations. Warm up inside the SVRC Marketplace, open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. Space, check out the Marketplace for all your private or business events. Have a small business you'd like to share with the community? Mark those calendars as we get ready for our Think Spring Makers Market on May 7th. We thank you for the continued support of our small businesses. Remember to shop local, eat local, support small business, and we will see you at the market.
With this week's Spirit in 60, I'm Joey Bottano. Well, after 5 of their last 7 games being played at the Dow Event Center, the Saginaw Spirit will hit the road this week when they take on the Sarnia Sting Wednesday, the Kitchener Rangers Friday, and the Owen Sound Attack on Saturday. The Spirit coming off of one of their most successful games all season, scoring a season-high 8 goals in Friday night's 8-1 win over the Erie Otters. Chance here for Minchikov, and he shoots, he scores! Minchikov with a snipe and a shorthanded goal. 13 of them on the year for the Spirit. It's 8-1. Just because the Spirit are away doesn't mean you can't keep up with all the action. Follow us live as the Spirit broadcasts their games live at 100.5 WSGW. The Spirit return home to the Dow Event Center Friday, March 11th and Saturday, March 12th, taking on the Owen Sound Attack. For tickets, log on to SaginawSpirit.com. With this week's Spirit in 60, I'm Joey Bottano.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug.
Check it out, Limu, a roadside carnival.
Step right up, folks. Test your strength. Come see the fire-breathing baby.
Let's fan out and tell people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Look, an emu wearing sunglasses.
Limu, you're famous. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like the course keeps changing right before your eyes. And in order to maneuver it, you need an... That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PC and tech solutions you need to help you get out in front and stay ahead of the game. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robin show, just what in the world is Women X history? And how do you spell that? With a Y and an X, I think. Women's?
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW. Thank you for being with 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW. In the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
All right, let's go to our phones this morning. Al in Midland starts us out. Al, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yep. What's up?
Hey, I had some strange occurrence that happened to me the other day. I was rummaging through some of my financial things, and I ran across a $50 gift card for gas.
Is it still good?
I'm a little bit afraid to spend it, though, because it's going to disappear. That money is going to go awful quick.
How old is it?
It's probably half a year.
Oh, it should
6 months.
Still should be good then. Yeah.
It still should be good, but I went online and checked it, and it does have a balance of $50 on it, so
well,
it hasn't been used.
I would. I'd be using it.
Well, it doesn't cost me anything. It was a gift, so.
Well, I understand that, but the gas costs you when you go out and buy it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm afraid of. It's going to chew that value right down to almost nothing real quick.
Oh, what else would you use it for?
Gas.
Right. So I'd use the free money to get expensive gas rather than cheap gas.
I understand. But the thing is, though, I think our memories are going to be quite good on this. The high inflation and all the things all this stuff has been going on for, a year and a half, 2 years. I don't think our memory is going to be short enough to help anybody out save their position in legislature or Senate or anything.
Well, the thing about it, Al, I don't think you're going to have to rely on your memory because I think it's going to be in your face at the time we go to the polls.
I think
I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
And I think that's why they're running scared. I really think they're running. But Biden doesn't seem to be scared at all. But I guess he's figuring out he's not going to run again. He's just going to take his retirement.
He's a politician. He can't stand there and look. He couldn't stand there at the State of the Union and look scared. That's not what politicians do. I don't care whether it's Biden or anybody else. That's not what they do.
No, but that doesn't give a good impression to the rest of the public that he's not concerned about anybody else. except I don't know, saving Russia or whatever, or saving Ukraine. I guess he pronounced it wrong the other day too. He pronounced it Uranus.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. I watched
Russia
that.
Was gonna,
I watched that.
Russia was going to invade a planet.
Yeah. All right. Look,
he's really stumbling over his words.
Wow.
I think we're going to see an absolute bloodbath in the election in the midterms, and I think the Democrats aren't going to be able to keep the presidency either. I think when
maybe not, but that's a long way off. That's a long way off.
I know,
but the midterms.
This,
I think the midterms. And I think they know it. That the midterms are going to change things, but that's historic too. It's not just Biden; it's historic.
Our memories are so good, Art. I think the presidential thing's going to flip too.
Well, our memories, I got
really
news
think
for
so.
you, Al. Our memories are not that good. We tend to move right on from things, no matter how serious they are. You know, you look at 9/11, it was kumbaya. Everybody was together. We were more unified than we'd ever been. 6 months later, it was like it didn't happen. You know, and that's the nature of the beast.
Because they, the Democrats looked at it and they said they couldn't get along with the president. They knew they were going to have a tough time trying to get him out of office. So right away, as soon as a certain time passed, they started attacking him. So
him? Who are you talking about?
I think they attacked Bush.
Oh, well,
I think that was the fellow that was in there, and
Yeah.
they couldn't see him winning re-election.
Which he did.
They wanted to get their chance for whatever to get
Well,
in.
that's
So
politics. I mean, that's the political.
That's why the kumbaya ended.
No. We historically, we as a society, after a period of time, move on, and our memories move on with us. Yeah, it's in the back of the mind someplace, but it doesn't become the issue we look at when we go to the poll. What I take out of my pocketbook, is what I look at when I go to the poll.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be
Well,
different this time.
I don't know that I agree with that because I think inflation is going to be the leading item. All right.
It is.
Gotta
but it's
run.
a financial thing.
All right, Al.
So,
Have
well,
a good
nice
one.
morning,
You
sir.
too.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you
Bye-bye
very
now.
much. Bye now.
And let's go to Mike in Shields before we take a break. Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Art. I got so many things to talk about that I can't believe it, but I think I better stick to one.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear you have to respond. Surprised me. Gas prices, obviously. I was shocked. I was down in Florida. We just got back last night, and the prices as holy man. Now we were lower than Florida when we were down there, but in one day's time, all of a sudden we're 30 cents more than Florida was.
No, they're going up too, though. They'll go up.
Oh yeah, no question about it. But both parties, the Republicans and Democrats, seem to understand that we have to do something to keep from buying this dirty fuel from Russia. We're adding to the climate change in this country by buying fuel from Russia because they don't have to clean their stuff. China, where we buy stuff from them. These countries dump pollution, and I don't know if our politicians here or our news media understand that. Yeah, we're trying to do our part, but we're hurting ourselves. We're killing ourselves. Our economy, our fuel prices. People can't afford it. I'm a retiree, just like, well, you're not, but a lot of people. And my gosh, I mean, our money. I can't afford to buy a lot of stuff like you were saying.
That's not got to do with dirty fuel from Russia or anything. I mean, it's a
we're
world
paying
commodity.
$1 million a day.
It's a world commodity.
$1 million a day.
Yeah, I understand that. We shouldn't be buying their oil, but not because it's dirty fuel. We shouldn't be buying it because we want to isolate Russia. The dirty fuel. When you say dirty fuel, we don't burn that dirty fuel. It gets refined.
It's fine, but when they produce it, they're contaminating.
Yes, that I understand.
That's what I'm trying to say is that. And
well, we shouldn't be buying it simply because of the conflict. Period.
Well, absolutely, I'm in favor of that. Some of my relatives were from the Ukraine as well as Poland. So.
Yep. All right. Good enough.
Okay.
Gotta run. Take care.
Later.
All right. Take care. Bye bye now. Lines open. We'll be back with more.
Are you ready for retirement? Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well thought out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. Retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Lose the weight guaranteed. Only $49.99 with Mark Patrick Seminars. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Stop smoking with Mark Patrick Seminars. No matter how many times you tried, hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. Join us at the Bay Valley Resort and Conference Center in Bay City, 5:30, March 8th. Stop Smoking Seminar starts at 8 p.m. For more information, go to markpatrickseminars.com.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness, modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, like cleaning your nose. After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUD.
This view was worth a hike.
Right? And it's a good way to stay on top of my health.
Yes, I'm Cologuard, a prescription colon cancer screening option for people 45 plus at average risk. Have you screened for colon cancer?
Not yet.
Don't wait. It's more treatable when caught in early stages.
Tell me more.
Cologuard is non-invasive and it's used at home. It detects altered DNA in your stool to find 92% of colon cancers.
92%?
Yep, even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas, have inflammatory bowel disease and certain hereditary syndromes, or a personal or family history of colon cancer.
Most insured patients pay $0. Ask your provider or an online prescriber if Cologuard is right for you, or visit Cologuard.com.
Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the mitten.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge and taste our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW.
All right, back with you here on the Art Lewis Show for this Thursday morning, and lines are open for you to talk about whatever you want, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, baseball, and the millionaires and billionaires fighting each other. And it appears we are going to lose the first couple of series as of this point anyway. MLB has said that the first two series of baseball games to begin the year will not take place. So they are going to continue talking they seem to be worlds apart right now. And this reminds me of, 1995, and they were worlds apart, and it took forever. It's too bad because it's going to hurt baseball as a sport, as a business. And I don't think, and this is just a guess on my part, but I don't think there's a lot of sympathy out there for either side of this, for the players or the owners. Many people believe players make way too much money to play sports. Many people believe that the owners make way too much money for a sport. I think I mentioned this a while back, many, many years ago, when Art Neal was a sportscaster at TV5. He and I had a discussion on the air, and at the time, the salaries weren't anything like they were today. They were, they're $1 million, and if you were lucky. But Art had an interesting insight into how he viewed it, because I was saying, "Let's go out and play a game." His answer was, "You get what you can get. You sit down, you negotiate. If player A asks for $2 million and team owner A says, okay, well, you got to give and you take. You got 2 signatures on the bottom of the contract." And I can remember talking about this on the radio back then. And that was always my point about these things. You can blame the players for making too much money, but then do you have to blame the owners for giving them too much money? And the answer is, look at any contract, and there are always 2 signatures, the taker and the giver. Blame has to be shared equally. And they usually make their decisions based on greed, unfortunately. Anyway, Michael is in Bay City, so let's go back to our phones this morning. Michael, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
We are well, thanks.
Fabulous. Enjoy your show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was listening to your show a couple of weeks ago. Actually, I caught the tail end. You were lamenting about the Biden administration supporting your drug paraphernalia, crack pipes, and so forth. And it got me thinking about, before the election, during the election campaign, I actually heard one of your colleagues talking about scoffing at the thought of people thinking this is the most consequential election that we've had in our lifetime. He was saying, well, we have that, people say that every 4 years.
I believe that.
Well, they do, Art. But here's the deal. And I think what's going on right now is responsible for people like one of your colleagues who's a low information voter. And you were talking about what's next, supporting crack pipes. That particular party, there were 500 and some riots going on that summer. And they were not saying much about that. They were kind of talking about defunding the police, although just the other night he changed his course. You talk about the Green New Deal. You talk about Afghanistan, what happened there. All these policies, who would vote for it? The American people don't support those positions.
Well, careful how you say that, Michael, because half of them do. It's just.
I'll say this, Art. I would say 25% of people are going to vote for a Democrat, whoever's running. But
I would say that's true of Republicans. That's true of Republicans too.
You're absolutely correct. But these are extreme policies, and I think those people, those low information voters, people are not paying attention because they hid the candidate Biden. It was their whole strategy to hide him in the basement all summer because he's a gaffe machine and he's senile. And anybody who doesn't admit to that is not telling the truth. But again, my contention is these people are low information voters. They didn't know what the issues are. They're watching the media. Were slandered, and they propped this man up to get him over the finish line.
Well, guess what?
We're paying for that.
Guess what? They have the right to vote.
You're exactly right.
The Constitution does not separate low information from high information, unfortunately, but that's the way it is.
I totally understand that, Art, and I'm not trying to say that. But I think, again, it's those people who aren't paying attention to the issues and low information voters. Your colleague Charlie was saying that. Hey, says, well, this is scoffing at this is the most consequential election in our lifetime. Well, it was. There was a stark difference between the two candidates. And the people who didn't support Trump there's Trump haters and there are low information voters of 81 million people.
Well, okay, so let's be honest. The Democrats are going to look at the Republicans exactly the same way.
But Art, tell me what policy
it does not make any difference. Hear me now. It does not make any difference. We are so divided politically in this country that Republicans look at Democrats, as you have just expressed, one way, and Democrats look at Republicans just the opposite way. That's the unfortunate nature of the divided political scene we live in today.
Okay, let me ask you that.
It has nothing to do with low information. It has to do with partisanship that has gotten out of hand.
That's a 25% of the
Well, that's a guess. That's a guess. That's a guess.
Okay. I agree.
And the other 50% could live in the middle and be very informed and vote the issues.
Okay, so who do you think supports an open border? Who do you think supports the way we got out of Afghanistan?
Well, here's my answer to let's take these one at a time, all right? All right. Let me see what time it is here. So I'm already late.
Shoot.
I'm gonna have to talk about this after the hour. Got to go. All right. We'll talk to you again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Tuesday, March 8th at the Bay Valley Resort and Conference Center in Bay City at 5:50 and stop smoking seminar at 8 p.m. For more info, go to markpatrickseminars.com.
What's done more to improve overall health and wellness? Modern medicine or personal hygiene? Actually, it's both. But considering that bathing went mainstream in the 1800s and brushing your teeth in the 1900s, isn't it time for something new, like cleaning your nose? After all, your nose is the body's air filter for trapping dirt and germs, the first line of defense against allergens, bacteria, and viruses from getting into your lungs. But how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage isn't medicine, it's more like plumbing. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril to the very back of the nose where germs can get trapped and multiply, and then out the other nostril, flushing out mucus and microbes so you can breathe better, less, and stay healthier. Join over 2 million others and find out for yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
All right, I have to apologize to the caller, Michael. I'll talk about it after the break, but ran out of time here. News coming up from CBS and the local report. We'll be back. We're going to talk to Dr. Kevin McCormac from Northwood about supply chain issues, and then we'll have more open phones.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Russian troops move in on Ukraine by land, by sea, and by air. Moscow's released Russian helicopters over Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say Russian forces have laid siege to more urban areas and gained ground in strategic port cities in the south. Hundreds of civilians have been killed. Many continue to take up the fight. CBS's Chris Livesay spoke with a man who runs a craft brewery in Lviv. He's switched from making beer to homemade bombs.
I see you with the Molotov cocktail, and I see the Russians with tanks. It feels like David and Goliath.
Actually, we have World War III here now in 21st century, and we stand against the huge army, but we will stand to the last.
The UN says more than 1 million people have now fled Ukraine. Correspondent Steve Futterman spoke with one of them.
The refugees here in Poland are hearing the reports of Ukraine cities, including the capital Kyiv, under increasing attack. This woman acknowledges the reports from Ukraine the last few days have not been what she wants to hear.
You see every day.
But President Biden is asking Congress for tens of billions of dollars more in emergency funding for two key priorities. Correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
About 2/3 of the $32 billion emergency request would fund efforts to combat coronavirus, mainly in the procurement of antiviral pills and more vaccines for the uninsured. $10 billion would provide the Ukrainians with additional military and humanitarian assistance and fund the newly enhanced operations of U.S. troops in Eastern Europe.
Highway patrol officers in Florida say at least 3 people were killed in 5 separate crashes on a foggy stretch of I-95 in Volusia County early this morning. Lieutenant Kim Montez.
So early to tell what happened, who started this. We did have a couple of semis catch fire and completely burn down.
They say several people, including children, were rushed to hospitals. For 27 years, Bill and Melinda Gates seemed to be the perfect power couple until Melinda filed for divorce last May. The billionaire philanthropist Morning's Gayle King, one of the things that made her question their relationship was her ex-husband's friendship with the late Jeffrey Epstein, whom she says she met exactly once.
I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt.
Number of Americans filing new claims for unemployment benefits dropped to their lowest level this year. Last week, Dow up 186. This is CBS News.
If cold winter calls have turned into warm spring leads, you need Indeed, the all-in-one platform to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
It's time to think about your pig. You know, the propane tank in your backyard that heats your home? Well, there's no better company to fill your pig than Forward Energy, covering 23 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supply area homes, farms, and businesses since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
Go forward with Forward Energy.
RocketGrabPlus.com. It's time to march into fitness with this week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com from the Freeland Sports Zone. You are going to get half off of a 1-year adult membership. It's only going to be $142. You can also get half off of a 1-year family membership for only $252. These deals are for new members only. Head right now to snag your deal. RocketGrabPlus.com.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with Reputation Scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-401-6681. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-401-6681. That's 800-401-6681. 800-401-6681. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Early 3 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Mike Pritchard. Several students and 2 adults were taken to hospitals after a school bus rolled over along US 127 near Alma yesterday. The crash happened around 4:30 p.m. along northbound 127 near M46. It involved an Ithaca Public Schools bus carrying ski club members and chaperones. Ithaca School Superintendent Stephen Netzley said the bus contained 24 students, a driver, and 2 chaperones. He says that several students were taken to local hospitals for treatment and evaluation, as well as the bus driver and a lead teacher. None of the injuries were considered life-threatening. All of the students, there were no other vehicles involved in the crash. The bus left the road and rolled over. Michigan State Police are investigating. First responders from several agencies assisted at the scene. The 63-year-old man pleaded no contest yesterday in Bay County to robbing a pharmacy more than a year ago. Brian Bleicher was accused of robbing Anderson Pharmacy on Marquette Avenue in Bay City on February 1st, 2021, holding up a pharmacist at knife point and demanding Vicodin, a painkiller containing opioids. He took no money or any other drugs. Police arrested him only minutes later. Bleicher's wife says he became addicted to the medication and pain caused by cancer. Bleicher has a sentencing hearing on April 25th. A familiar pest has a new name. The hairy yellow-faced caterpillar, formerly known as the gypsy moth, is now called the spongy moth. The old name for invasive species was removed because it contains a derogatory term for Romani people. The name spongy comes from a common name in France and French-speaking Canada that refers to the moth's egg mass, which has the color and texture of a sea sponge. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
We want you to join the fun when Hockey for the Homeless returns to the Dow on Saturday, March. Ministries of Mid-Michigan. Tickets are just $15 and groups of 10 or more are discounted to $12. Get your tickets today by calling 989-755-HOPE. That's 989-755-4673. Be there for Hockey for the Homeless on Saturday, March 12th to benefit Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
WSGW News Time, 10:08. The weather forecast is coming up. This will be awarded to $3.5 million in My Clean Water grants through the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy. The plan is a $500 million investment announced by Governor Gretchen Whitmer to rebuild the state's water infrastructure to help provide clean, affordable water to Michiganders through investments in communities. It addresses water infrastructure issues in Michigan, such as lead-laden water service lines, toxic contamination like PFAS. Communities receiving grants include Cadillac, Port Austin, Rogers City, Baraga, and Algonac. With online gambling and legalized sports betting soaring, the state health department is hosting a gambling disorder symposium this week. Here's Michigan News Network's John Hewitt.
It's a virtual symposium scheduled for Thursday and Friday, which will address in part the addiction for some when it comes to the lure of online gambling and sports betting, particularly among teens and children as young as 12 years old. Legally allowed to gamble still have found access to do so. Aaliyah Lucas is the Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Program Specialist.
Over the course of the past year, 75% of college students have gambled at least once, and at least 6% of them have a gambling problem.
To learn more about the symposium, you can visit michigan.gov/problemgambling.
The number of new coronavirus cases in Michigan are now the lowest they've been in at least 6 months. The state health department said there were just over 2,100 cases over the past 2 days, along with 233 deaths. Data shows that Metro Detroit has the lowest positivity rate in the state at 6.2%. However, all regions are experiencing declines for positivity, case rates, and hospitalizations. WSGW News Time 10:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. Skies here for your day today with a high into the upper 20s. Winds out of the northwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for tonight, partly cloudy skies, a low near 16. Friday, partial sunshine develops, a high of 36 degrees. Then by Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, a high around 50. Sunday, partial sunshine, breezy, high around 58. And on Monday, a chance for snow showers here, cloudy, high around 36. Tuesday, partial sunshine, high 39 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 23.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, the Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com.
And welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show here on WSGW. Later on, we'll have open phones, but for the first part of this hour, we're going to talk about supply chain and all that good stuff that we hear about in the news all the time. Because with us from Northwood University is the Associate Professor of Operations and Supply Chain Management. We say good morning to Dr. Kevin McCormac. Good morning.
Good morning, Art.
Thanks
Good morning.
for joining
How are
us.
you?
No, we're doing well, thanks. I guess, before we start about what we should be doing right now as buyers and what to do, we need to talk a little bit about this supply chain crisis and how it came about, because it seems like it hit us over the head. These things usually take a while to develop, but it almost seemed like we woke up one morning and all of a sudden there were 80 ships parked off the California coast. What happened?
Well, it's closer to 190 ships now, but
oh, good.
Let me try to explain it a little bit. If you take a rubber band, let's say, and you stretch it way out in front of you, and you just keep stretching it and stretching it and stretching it, eventually it's going to snap and hit you in the face. And with the supply chain, we started organizing suppliers offshore, low-cost country sourcing, chasing the lowest cost. And
yep.
I think I was in China in 2004 and onwards until about 2018, and Vietnam as well, and South Korea was in there all the time. So we've stretched this rubber band way out, and we month lead time, and thought, okay, fine, 3 months is great. I'll just wait for it. It comes in through the port, 4 or 5 days on a truck, and I get it. Well, when it snapped, by them shutting down, first in China, they shut down manufacturing, they shut down shipping, and the whole wave swept over the world. It snapped. So then we tried to start it up again. We continued selling. We had high demand, so we bought all the inventory out, and now we have to wait until inventory. So it's still a big rubber band. We're stretching it again. We shouldn't, but I guess that's my simplistic view of what happened. There's a lot of complexities in here.
Obviously,
like the price of oil and things. Yeah, you know how it gets more complex than a simple rubber band, but there it is.
It's an interesting analogy, though, and it would, I mean, just on the surface, seem to me that this period of time we're living in, pandemic and all, should have taught us about being dependent on other countries, particularly those low-cost countries like the Chinas of the world. Will we learn that lesson?
Well, we've had several near pandemics, or SARS way back when, MERS, bird flu. A lot of things have come. A lot of them out of China, Ebola out of Africa a few years ago. So we shouldn't have been surprised. I think our reaction was different this time. The shutting down of the world and quarantining healthy people was dramatically different this time.
Yeah.
So I think we might have learned our lesson. At least companies I talked to have said they're going to rebuild their supply chain differently this time.
How?
So we'll see.
Still need ships, you need trucks, you need trains. How do you do that?
Well, you need a blend of suppliers. You need some regional or local suppliers. You need some national suppliers. And you need some global suppliers. And you need to blend this mixture and understand the risk and have backup suppliers for those long lead times. You need to really pay attention to lead time. Waiting 3 months for something is crazy.
Is that message going to get to manufacturers? And here's why I say that. Yes, there have been other crises in our past, which we all know about. But I can't remember any of them impacting Mr. and Mrs. America as this one has at this point in time. We go to the store, either we find empty shelves or we find expensive shelves. And we as Americans tend to react when it hits our pocketbook. Are we going to get the message across to these folks or not?
Well, let me say this. It's only just begun. The consumer price index hitting 10%, and the oil price getting to $150 a barrel. It's going to go up higher than that. And we've got an anti-fossil fuel agenda before us now, where they're shut down pipelines and they're decreasing the amount of wells they drill and shut down production within the country. The price of oil is going to continue up. So will you get the message when the consumer price index goes up 20%? I would think so.
Yeah, I would hope so.
If you remember, if you remember in the 80s, I bought a home. My wife and I bought our first home in 1980. 18% interest on the mortgage.
Yep.
Now, I've never forgotten that, but let's see.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting comment, because I think the Jimmy Carter era of those high interest rates is fresh in the minds of the older voters who will go to the polls. Younger voters, not so much, because they didn't live through it. But certainly, older voters recognize it and remember it.
But the only way to slow down the money supply is to stop printing the money and raise interest. That's the only way to do it. So consumer price index is different than the asset inflation that's going on, which is homes and cars and things like that.
So if you're talking to Mr. and Mrs. America, what do you tell them they should be doing right now?
Well, everything's going to be more expensive. So if you need to buy something this year, borrow the money now. It's a low interest. Buy it now. Maybe you'll get delivery in a couple months or 3 months, but get the contracts in now. Organize your spending so that you know what's essential and what isn't. Save your money, and when the interest rate goes up for, let's say, 1-year CD, short-term investments with higher interest rates, I mean, it's going to continue up. I used to get 12% CDs in the 80s, and I would play that 1-year game and try to stay somewhat ahead, but be prepared. Get an inflation mindset. I mean, that's the point. When you live through this, like my parents were Depression parents. They lived through the Depression. We lived through, inflation. So we have an inflation mindset. The Gen X, they've never lived through this, so they need to rethink how they behave and how they save, what they invest.
Whoops, Kevin, your signal just went. Guys, shut that down for now. Pick Kevin up on the phone and tell him we'll be back with him. We're going to take a break. I don't know what happened there. That was interesting. We're going to take a break. And then we will return with more. Let me talk to you for a moment, though, about Krizak's House Family Restaurant. Pleased to serve you with the finest in dining and takeout services, and grateful for all of you who have supported them. They look forward to serving you again. Every day is takeout day from 11 to 7 at Krizak's. Friday and Saturday, 11 to 8. Krizak's House Family Restaurant at the corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City's south side. Takeouts and reservations for parties and events, call 894-5531. 989-894-5531. That's Krizak's.
Liberty. We're out of the brand name, but we do have the generic version of
Serene's Pharmacy can't keep up with allergy season.
Who's next in line?
They need certified technicians to alleviate the headache.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for the wait. We'll have your prescription filled soon. I need some help.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is Are looking at crude oil prices at the highest level since 2008 because of expected disruptions caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And there's an encouraging update on the job market. There were 215,000 people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time last week, a decline. The number of continuing claims, those still receiving benefits, rose slightly to 1.4 million. The Labor Department releases the February employment report tomorrow. Mercedes-Benz Group and Volkswagen are stopping exports of vehicles to Russia. Both say they will stop production of cars there until further. Today's Wholesale Club is reporting a mixed quarter. Its sales increased, but not as much as Wall Street was expecting. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
After 9/11, Saul Martinez couldn't wait to enlist. In Iraq, his vehicle was hit by a projectile improvised explosive device. Saul survived, but he lost both legs, suffered a traumatic brain injury, and lost 2 close friends. Saul now from the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which gave him back his independence despite his severe physical challenges. Help heroes like Saul. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
Let me again tell you about Krishak's House Family Restaurant, proud to be a business that serves this area with the finest in dining and takeout services, and grateful for all of you who have supported them over the years. They look forward to serving you again. Every day is takeout day at Krishak's from 11 to 7, and Friday and Saturday 11 to 8. Krishak's House Family Restaurant at the corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City's south side. For takeouts and reservations for parties and events, call them at 989-894-5431. That's Krishak's House Family Restaurant.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's an FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
The Saginaw Spirit play here.
Looting, D for Forgione, fires a shot toward goal. Rebound there, scores! Sepulveda with his second of the period.
The Saginaw Spirit continue their weekend Canadian road trip with a stop against the Kitchener Rangers on Friday night. Join Joey Batano and Dennis Rozier for all the live action beginning Friday night at 7:15 on 100.5 FM News Radio WSGW. And the Spirit are back home next weekend for a pair of games. Visit SaginawSpirit.com for ticket information.
Saginaw Spirit Hockey is on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you, and hopefully with all of that little technical issue there, we still have Kevin with us. Kevin, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, good. Sorry for that. So let me go back and let's look at this issue from a different standpoint. Let's look into the McCormac crystal ball. Let's start with the supply chain. How long before we see something resembling normalcy again? A new rubber band, if you will.
Probably mid to late 2023. It takes everything and reposition and new contracts and if you're going to change suppliers, you have to start up the new supplier, and we don't have a lot of regional suppliers anymore. You're going to have to build some. Like they're building semiconductor factories around the world outside of China now. That's going to take a couple of years.
Yeah, and Intel is committing big money here in the United States to do that. I've said all along, it would seem to me it would behoove the auto manufacturers to have their own suppliers, to have their own chip companies. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
You think they've learned the lesson?
You would think. I don't have we as people. I don't know. It certainly is an interesting question. So if supply chain takes till the middle of 2023, let's assume for a moment, how about inflation? How long is that going to last? I mean, we always have it, but how long is it going to be at this level?
A couple of years at least, and I'm poor at guessing. Okay, my crystal ball may go out 18 months, but we've got a money supply that's has expanded 30%, and normally it's a 5 to 10%. And we've got oil and gas inflationary pressures that I haven't seen in many years. It's going to take, my guess, 4 or 5 years at least. before this settles down. It took 10 years in the 70s at least.
Oh, such good news.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I say that jokingly because it's probably the most realistic answer you could have. I mean, the reality is we're not going to wake up tomorrow and find gas prices down, inflation down, supply chain fixed. It's not going to happen.
No, it isn't. And the reconstruction of the supply chain to make it a more resilient supply chain is a hot topic. I did some research about 10 years ago around the world and asked people, what do you do about risk management? Is it important, and what are you doing about it? And everybody said it's important. And almost nobody was doing anything about it. So maybe this time they will.
Yeah, maybe when you get hit in your pocketbook, it wakes you up. Let's talk for a minute about the impact of the Russia-Ukraine situation on us. If Biden were to wake up tomorrow morning and say, oops, I'm done, bring everybody home, I'm not going to invade Ukraine anymore, would that have immediate impact on the world?
Well, yeah, he's not going to invade Ukraine, that's for sure. And the troops are surrounding Ukraine, all the NATO troops. And NATO is a shell of what it was. I was in Europe in the late 80s and lived in Germany for several years, and the wall was still up. And it was different then. Now, 90% of the troops and capabilities are gone. What's going to happen? Russia supplies gas to Germany. 60% of the natural gas in Germany is purchased from the Russians. So they can't shut down the gas and oil that Russia sells to Western Europe. You want to use the old terms. We buy Russian oil. So
yeah,
it comes from Russia. So I guess you can talk about it, but if you're going to shut down the purchase of Russian oil, it's going to have a dramatic impact. I think we should get we were oil independent, gas independent a couple of years ago.
Yep.
For the first time in my life. I think that's a good strategy, is get your local, regional suppliers up and running, and maybe you'll have to buy some things internationally, but we weren't. A couple of years ago, we were exporting it.
Yeah. Well, we're so green conscious, I don't see that happening, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know. Germany has shut down 3 of their nuclear reactors, and now they're seeing their utility bills go up 2 and 3 and 4 times. People are starting to say, I don't want to freeze to death, and I don't want to pay the Russians to supply natural gas. So who knows?
It's an interesting time. Interesting time, isn't it? It's a learning time.
Yeah, may you live in interesting times, the Chinese say.
I don't think they had this in mind. But we've talked about this. We've mentioned it a couple of times. But this is a period of time of learning, isn't it? And hopefully the lessons are being learned.
What learning does, hopefully. If you're doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome, that's a definition of insanity.
We got enough of that going around. We don't need any more of that.
I think so.
I have to ask this too for the future. I mean, you teach supply side management. Is this something students are interested in?
Yes, we have a lot of interest in the program. I teach in the master's program in France, and I teach here in bachelor's in Michigan. And it's the hottest topic, the hottest program, 6 to 10 job opportunities. And they're pushing, the underside is $70,000 right out of school. And they have a couple internships that we have them go through in our program. So they're really just being thrown into this mess, and they know what to do. So it's the hottest program out there.
Well, maybe they can come up with a solution. That's good.
I've got research programs going around the world with master students and undergrads. They have a lot of good creative ideas, and they've learned this lesson. I mean, they've paid attention to what's been going on, and they've got ideas for the future. So that's what makes me hopeful.
I have to wonder, Kevin, if I had come to your class, say 3 or 4 years ago, versus come to your class on supply side today would be a difference?
I don't think so. I might have, maybe I'm a little more emotional today with the war in Ukraine. We have Ukrainian students here going to school, and their parents live in Kiev. So, I mean, there's some personal involvement now that I didn't have then. But I was saying the same thing since the early 90s, late 80s. None of this is a surprise, really. I mean, we just didn't prepare for it because we didn't believe it would happen.
You back then, you saw the rubber band stretching too far.
Absolutely. I was in China in 04, 05, and 06, 07, and I worked in Canada and in Africa and all over the world. And I'm going, I don't think a 3-month lead time for materials that are, maybe 50% cheaper, but you have to pay to ship them all over the world and get through a port that is really, LA port is just really congested, and it's one of the few ports you can. It just didn't make sense. A lot of people said the same thing. It doesn't make sense. And I worked with a furniture company in the early 2000s that shut down their regional purchases and bought 80% of their furniture from China, and it about destroyed their company because they couldn't get what they ordered. It wasn't delivered. It was late. Just didn't work. It was cheap, but really problematic.
The other thing too is the manufacturers in this country went to just-in-time manufacturing. First time the part doesn't show up, you shut your line down.
Well, it just makes you more sensitive to reliable suppliers. If you have a reliable supplier with reliable deliveries, which really only happens when you have a short lead time, then just-in-time will work. But if you got to wait 3 months and go through a port and you have, sea transportation is not reliable. It changes that you can't have just-in-time.
Well, listen, Doc, I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning and talking about this subject. We'll have to do it again down the road and see if we've made any progress.
Yeah, my pleasure, Art. Thanks.
All right, we'll talk to you again. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Kevin McCormac, he's Associate Professor of Operations and Supply Chain Management at Northwood University. We thank him for talking about that important topic this morning. Lines will be open now for the remainder of the hour, 989-752-6111, for whatever you would like to chat about.
What makes a great boat show? The largest selection in Michigan. That's right. It's time for Spicer's huge boat show and sale, and we have the best inventory in Michigan. Over 300 Mercury-powered boats in stock from 15 different manufacturers. You heard right. There's no inventory shortage here at Spicer's. Come see the newest Mercury-powered fishing boats, pontoons, and speedboats. Like this must-see Sylvan S3 dual-console pontoon, loaded up with a huge 300-horsepower Mercury and every option you can possibly imagine. Or the brand-new Four Winds H4 with incredible luxury styling. Huge boat show savings, extended warranties, free gear, and more. The largest selection of boats in Michigan at Spicer's huge boat show and sale, starting this weekend at Michigan's Destination Fun, Spicer's Boat City, N55 and Houghton Lake.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved.
Join Mark Patrick seminars for only $49.99 March 8th at the Bay Valley Resort and Conference Center in Bay City at 5:30 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a little, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Now an important message from Exergen. A critical new FDA study proves that the widely used non-contact thermometers are not accurate and have high probabilities for false negative readings. New COVID strands are on the rise, and non-contact manufacturers are being irresponsible at a time when accuracy matters most. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. Don't wait. Switch to Exergen because they are accurate and backed by studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Did you know that doctors use Mucinex? That's right. Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. When you have cough and chest congestion, you need a medicine that's effective and long-lasting. So with cold and flu season upon us, why would you use anything else? Mucinex 12-hour DM extended release bilayer tablets allow for immediate and extended release, relieving cough and chest congestion for 12 hours. Grab Mucinex and put yourself back in control. Use as directed.
RocketGrabPlus.com. It's time to march into fit. RocketGrabPlus.com from the Freeland Sports Zone. You are going to get half off of a 1-year adult membership. It's only going to be $142. You can also get half off of a 1-year family membership for only $252. These deals are for new members only. Head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com. You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
Man, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show, and to our phones we go. Lee is in Saginaw. Lee, good morning to you.
All right.
Lee, good morning.
All right. Gotta talk to my buddy.
Lee, hello, Lee.
Hey, how you doing, Art?
Good. Go ahead.
I wanted to bring up about the Russia-Ukraine situation.
Yep.
And there's a lot of things people don't understand about this whole thing, and I'm not a Russian apologist. Don't think about that. I'm an old Cold Warrior. In '91, when the Soviet Union collapsed and Warsaw Pact fell apart, they threw out the communists, and we treated them like dirt. We really did. I remember Russian tanks shelling the Duma, where the last of the communists held up in Russia. They cleaned out their system, and what the United States did and NATO, we rubbed their nose into losing the Cold War. We took none of their security concerns to heart. We said we wouldn't allow NATO to creep toward their border. We did. And a lot of things are going on right now, especially Ukraine. Ukraine's a prime example. I really believe it was caused by the United States and NATO because Russia, in their psyche, they are still Operation Barbarossa when the Nazis invaded. That's burnt into their memory. That still affects them today. And when we allowed NATO to keep creeping and creeping, and the way we treated them, Russia turned and thought of us as an enemy again. And here a little while ago, just in the last month or so, I remember Putin saying that Ukraine and the states bordering Russia are a red line. And he wanted NATO not to offer them membership.
Does he dictate what the world does?
Well, here's the thing. Listen to me on this one. They refuse to take NATO membership off the table for Ukraine and a couple other bordering states. So Russia is taking NATO membership off the table right now. And I remember you saying a few days ago, like you just said now, do they have the right to dictate that? In theory, no. But Russia still has the largest nuclear arsenal in the world.
So what, does Ukraine have the right? Does the Ukrainian people have the right to decide their future?
Yes, they do.
So could that include joining NATO?
Well, yes, they can do. Hold on, I guess you don't understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're trying to lay some of this on us, and I don't buy that.
Well, I do to a certain point, yes.
I think Putin's a madman.
Well, yeah, he is kind of bent. You also got to remember that, well, hell, Stalin killed 40 million of his own people.
So
Russia has never been known, has been known for having people that are, you know, great omnipotent dictators. But what I'm saying is, when people are getting wrapped around the axle of, he doesn't have the right to do this. No, he doesn't. Not at all. And I'm not arguing that, but here's the thing. What I'm saying is I don't have the right to go home, go into my garage, make Molotov cocktails, go next door and firebomb my neighbor's house.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah,
But
you
I'm
don't
a
have the
real
right
guy.
to do it, neither does he.
He doesn't have the right, but he has the capability.
Well, of course, we all know that. We know he has the capability. We know he's armed to the teeth. He always has been. And now, and it was after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, things looked pretty bleak in Russia because they didn't have the money. Now, with oil and gas production, they're flush, and they've got their military back. They don't have to sell you jet rides to make money.
Right. And this is where we screwed up. Instead of jumping in and getting Russia, the Russian Federation on its feet, sending food and money, is like I said, remember, they threw off the communists themselves. They didn't like the government they had.
Right. All right.
We didn't do that. We did it totally opposite. And what I'm saying is you reap what you sow.
All right.
Right now, if we would have done things differently back here, hell, NATO wanted to join, or Russia wanted to join NATO back in the 90s, and they were rebuffed. You can't join us. But then we took the Warsaw Pact nations into NATO.
Yeah. All right. Good enough. We'll see where it leads eventually. Thanks for being with us, Lee. You too. Bye-bye now. Michael is in Bay City. Michael, good morning. You're on with Art Lewis.
Hi, Art.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
I just wanted to be succinct and not blather about what we were just talking about before your guest, and then make a point and get your perspective. So, as I was saying, people that scoffed at the idea of the last presidential election being, just like all the others. Honestly, I don't think they're paying attention. In my opinion, they weren't paying attention. You got to be a low information voter if you didn't know the positions on the issues were the most stark in my lifetime. So my point is, I hope people in the next election are paying attention. They know what the issues are because they're indirectly responsible for 13 deaths in Afghanistan. They're responsible partly for what's going on over in Ukraine. They're responsible for my wallet being $276 in the average.
Yeah, but the fact is they will pay attention because it's hurting them in the pocketbook. When they go to the polls, with certain exceptions, and those exceptions are people who adamantly vote one way or another on the right to choose, for example. The majority of people, when they go to the poll, they know what their pocketbook is doing, and that's what they vote on.
Yep, that's unfortunate because again, the issues could have been more stark. Defunding the police, open borders. I mean, our energy policies, everything's been gone just the 180 degrees the other way.
So, what did you see during the State of the Union address? You saw a president
move to the middle.
Move
he
to the
didn't
middle.
say what he should have said is, hey, we're going to use our own energy and not.
Yeah, well, you're right. He didn't say a lot of things we think he should have said, but there was a definite move to the middle.
I agree, Art, but he's not as smart as Bill Clinton. Clinton moved to the center for the good of our country and for the best thing for this American people.
Yeah.
Obama didn't move to the center. Obama got shellacked. 63 seats in Congress were lost. He didn't have the brain power to move to them. He stayed to the left, just like this guy's going to do.
Well, yeah, but he's gonna have the same result, I think, at the midterms. He's gonna get shellacked.
Exactly right.
Then he's going to be. Then he's a lame duck from that point forward.
Yeah. Yep. It's not good for the country. That's the bottom line. The policies are not good for the American people.
All right. Good enough.
Again, I hope people are paying attention next time.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Art.
Thanks for calling. Bye now. We'll be back in a few. Delmar, hang on. You'll be next.
We want you to join the fun when Hockey for the Homeless returns to the Dow on Saturday, March 12th to benefit Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan. Tickets are just $15 and groups of 10 or more are discounted to $12. Get your tickets today by calling 989-755-HOPE. That's 989-755-4673. Be there for Hockey for the Home 12th to benefit Rescue Ministries of Mid-Michigan.
Whoever said the more the merrier sure wasn't in charge of hiring new employees, because the more unqualified candidates you have for a job, the more difficult your hiring can be. And that can make the process, well, not so merry for you. Thankfully, there's ZipRecruiter, which you can try right now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology finds the right candidates for your job. But unlike other sites, ZipRecruiter goes deeper. ZipRecruiter matches people with people, and you can personally invite your top choices to apply. Is more than a list of qualifications. It's an individual. ZipRecruiter makes hiring the right person easy, and that'll keep you and everyone else very merry.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's right, free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why are you paying full price when you know that you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? You can check out our deals right now from Salon Blue Day Spa and Boutique, 120 Fitness, Uplift these hot dogs, Wonder Burger, King's Fish and More, and the Hamptons Boutique Tanning and Salon. Half off? Yeah, it's true. And it's all at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
I need 4 more of the biscuit carnitas, 2 burnt end platters, 3.
The kitchen at Kai's Barbecue is firing on all cylinders.
Greg, help me bring these to the pickup counter.
He needs food runners who can hit the ground quickly.
86 on the chicken and we're short-staffed. Let's pick it up.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com. $5 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You have the chance to win a $1,000 gift certificate to a participating business for your Mid-Michigan home improvement. The contest presented by HBA of Saginaw Home and Garden Show on WSGW. Simply head online to WSGW.com. Scroll down the homepage and find the contest box. And when you enter, you choose the business that you would use your $1,000 gift certificate if you are the winner. Businesses include Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery, Baylands, Roof Max, M&R Garage Doors and Openers, Premier Concrete Admixtures, Reamer Plumbing, Heating and Air Conditioning, Maple Hill Nursery, Wolfiles Ace Hardware, Delta Door Sales, Cranes L&M Appliance, Hartel Heating and Cooling, Faster Building Center, A+ Plumbing and Mechanical, Members First Credit Union, Begic Nursery and Garden Center. Deadline to enter is March 25th. The Mid-Michigan Home Improvement Contest presented by HBA of Saginaw Home and Garden Show on WSGW.com.
All right, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show, and we'll go back to our phones now. Delmar is in Saginaw. Delmar, good morning.
Thanks, sir, for taking my call.
Sure.
Just a couple of things that, you get the Wall Street Journal, I get the Wall Street Journal, but one of the biggest things driving this inflation is the fact that last year, even up to this year, some 36 million Americans got their wages doubled. Even the other day, Macy said, starting May 1st, no one's going to get less than $15 an hour. We're coming out with education benefits, and we're coming out with child care benefits. Hobby Lobby 2 weeks ago, same thing. Minimum's going to be $15 an hour. Walgreens, Walmart, Myers, all of them are coming out with higher wages, especially right after the pandemic. There, when they start giving out almost 70, 80% increases in wages, used to be $9.40. What's that going to do to the prices of the items they're selling?
Well, exactly. It's always been that way. This notion about raising raising minimum wages has always been a fallacy because nobody gets ahead because your wage goes up and the prices go up and you don't get ahead.
But the people at the bottom that were making $9.40.
Yeah, I understand that
are going to be pocketing another $1,000 a month.
No, they're not. They're going to be spending it because inflation is going to take it away from them.
That's right. And when they spend it, what's that do?
Yeah, but that's only part of it. That's
It dries
not.
up the price.
That
It
is
dries up the
that
price
is
of those
not
that you buy.
the that is not the overriding influence right now in the inflation. It is a piece of the puzzle, but the
It's a
money
big piece of
supply
the
is the
puzzle.
money supply is an even bigger piece of the puzzle. And when the government started throwing around money to everybody during the pandemic, and the Fed had to keep printing the presses so that they had the money to give, that's inflation.
When you say the government starts throwing money around, do you know how much money they saved by not sending out Social Security? Approximately 600,000.
Say that again. How much money they
Americans
saved
every
doing?
month.
I missed that. How much money they saved doing what?
Do you know how much money they didn't pay out in Social Security checks of the hundreds of thousands of people who died from COVID?
Some.
Look it up.
Some, but not nearly what they sent. Not nearly what they sent out.
Billions. Oh,
All
come
right.
on.
All right.
Most of those people who died were over 65. 68% or 70% of them
Yeah, I
were
understand
over
that.
65 years of
I
age.
understand
All
that.
get Social Security checks. You don't have to pay those no more for another 10 years, 15 years.
So instead, they sent to 300 million people all kinds of money.
That they spent on the economy.
Yeah, but where'd that money
They
come from?
spent it on the economy.
Where'd that money come from?
Taxpayers comes from the general pool.
How about the printing press?
You know, you had a couple of people on there talking about misinformation.
You need to study basic economy, because anytime the Fed
Well, I
cranks
have-
up
I
the
have-
printing
I-
presses, it leads to inflation.
But again, okay, what backs up that money at the printing press? We went over this again, well, a long time ago. I went this over with you about this money. When they print that billions of dollars out every day, what backs up that money?
Nothing. Faith of
There
the
you
government,
go, Art. There you go.
which
It's
leads
just
to
based
inflation.
on faith. And do the foreign governments want their gold for those
Yeah.
U.S. currencies? No,
Yeah.
they don't. They don't want gold. They want to exchange those greenbacks
Yeah.
between banks.
All
Major
right.
banks, especially in China, they do that.
Good enough, Delmar. Got to run. All right, buddy.
They blow me
Thanks
off.
for calling. Take care. Bye-bye. Now, I'm not blowing you off. You just had a lot of time. Lee is Lee's not there. Okay. John in Phoenix, Arizona. John, good morning. John,
Just wanted to tell. Yes, sir. Can
go
you
ahead.
hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Yeah. Just wanted to tell you, we went over and visited the Long Beach port in LA a few weeks ago. Went on they have a ship that takes you on a tour of the whole port, so you can see it. It's pretty interesting. But they're only unloading cranes. They're only unloading 4 hours per day there right now.
I thought they went on to extended shifts. Really?
No. And also, all the were in the just outside of waiting to be unloaded. They moved all of those offshore, so you can no longer see them. They're still there.
Yeah, they're still there. You just can't see them.
That's correct.
But wait a minute. I want to go back to what you
And,
said here. Well, hang on a minute, John. You're telling me that they are only operating the cranes to unload the container ships 4 hours a day?
That's correct.
I thought Biden went there. I thought Biden told them they should operate 24 hours and do all of that.
No, that's not. We don't.
Huh. That's scary.
We drove around the port area, and it's just not that busy. But what I did want to say that's interesting, they're loading railroad cars in the port, and then they end up. We've seen them on a train. We actually drove back through Yuma and along the California, Mexico border, and some of the cargo is loaded too high on the railroad cars, and you can see where some of the doors in the back of the cargo is swinging open that people have gotten into.
Oh, great. Well, they were having that problem in Los Angeles. They had thieves that were opening those things up and stealing everything in them and leaving a mess along the tracks. I remember those images.
Yeah, well, they're still open. They're just flying down the
Just
railroad
flying
cars.
down the road, huh? Lovely.
Flying down the road, yes, sir. So I got to tell you, it's a slow process. I was listening to your show earlier, and you were talking about that.
That's interesting. 4 hours a day makes no sense to me whatsoever. None.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call, John. Do it again. Thanks.
All right.
Take care, John,
Yes,
down in Phoenix, Arizona. And that's interesting. I mean, we were all under the impression they were working overtime at the ports to get these things cleared up. If they're only working 4 hours a day, no wonder there's a supply chain problem. Now, the question is, are they working 4 hours a day because that's all the labor they have? And I don't know the answer to that. That's another question. You know, are they having problems getting labor, getting folks to work? All right, we're going to close out here in just a moment after these notes.
Wall Files Ace Hardware in Saginaw is looking for a cashier. If you are friendly, like to work with people, and can handle money, this opportunity is for you. Experience is not necessary. You must be prompt, dependable, and willing to assist shoppers. For an opportunity to fill this rewarding position at one of this area's oldest, highly respected hardware and service shops, bring a resume and apply in person today. 18 State Street, Saginaw, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Part-time or full-time positions start now. Wall Files Ace Hardware, 5818 State Street, Saginaw, is an equal opportunity employer.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar Tuesday, March 8th at the Bay Valley Resort and Conference Center in Bay City at 5:50, and stop smoking seminar at 8 p.m. For more info, go to markpatrickseminars.com.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
Hey, Jim! Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
We're growing fast, and I stopped working weekends thanks to how much smoother everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. We're still using QuickBooks.
NetSuite.
We're making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Shh, watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/radar. Head to netsuite.com/radar for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/radar.
Has this ever happened to you? Your significant other says kitchen and you break out into a cold sweat?
Well, don't worry. It's a common condition, something we call needless remodeling anxiety. And we've got the cure. Heck, we are the cure. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Whether you do it yourself or direct it yourself, we can help you keep your project on track and on budget.
So join us this weekend for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
The Money Pit, Saturday mornings at 9 on WSGW.
All right, that's going to do it for the Art Lewis Show for today. We'll be back to talk about Auburn on Focus when we return. But first, we have the news coming up from CBS, the local report on the region and the state, and then Focus will be along next. Talk to you then.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting. I'm Steve Kathan. The war in Ukraine, Russian attacks from the air and on the ground.
They started shooting from their BMP towards the park in front of the post office in the town centre of Borodyanka.
Northwest of the capital, Kyiv, a Ukrainian port city on the Black Sea has been seized by Russia. The Biden administration is asking Congress to add at least $10 billion in new spending for Ukraine. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham on CBS Mornings wants the heat turned up on Vladimir Putin for suspected war crimes.
I talked to the British yesterday, and we're going to come up with a plan to start identifying Russian units and give the world the names of the commanders of the people who are doing this. So I want a multiple front approach when it comes to Putin.
Filippo Grandi, the UN's High Commissioner for Refugees, million people have fled Ukraine since the beginning of the invasion.
Countless have been displaced inside the country. And unless there is an immediate end to the conflict, millions more are likely to be forced to flee Ukraine.
In a court filing, the House panel investigating the Capitol attack indicates there's evidence that could prompt a criminal conspiracy case against former President Trump. CBS's Robert Costa.
The filing directly implicated Trump, and it suggests his efforts to from him might constitute fraud against the United States. That's a serious matter, but it will ultimately be up to the Justice Department to figure out what it will do, if anything, once the committee formally concludes its investigation later this year.
The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that Kentucky's Republican Attorney General can continue defending a restriction on abortion rights that have been struck down by lower courts. 8 states are now investigating TikTok, looking into the video platform's possible harmful effects on children's mental. Massachusetts is one of them. The state attorney general, Maura Healey, says
the increased use by teens and young people of social media platforms can contribute to increased levels of anxiety, depression, even suicidality.
TikTok says it has tools in place to help kids and parents moderate time spent on the app. This morning at Florida's Kennedy Space Center.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. And liftoff.
The SpaceX rocket blasting off. It will deploy 47 stars for improved internet access. Wall Street right now, the Dow is down 128 points. NASDAQ is down 183. This is CBS News.
There's always something new under the sun. CBS Mornings, weekdays on CBS.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly Wealth Management, LLC.
Attention. This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-810-7295. Vehicle protection plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-810 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-810-7295. What do you have to lose? Call 800-810-7295. Again, 800-810-7295.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom. This is WSGW News.
Partly cloudy skies and 24 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. I'm Mike Kirchup. Carleton Public Schools has ended its mask requirement for students and staff in a letter to parents sent out yesterday. Rosinski says the district will be following new guidance released by the CDC on February 25th, allowing medium-risk communities like Saginaw County to end requirements based on local levels of new cases and hospitalizations. The district began this school year without a masking requirement, but quickly added one on September 22nd as cases surged in the area. The district's Board of Education had voted to keep the requirement in place in a meeting last week while waiting on guidance from the Saginaw County Health Department. Rosinski says, while not required anymore, those who do wish to continue to wear a mask are still strongly encouraged to do so. Saginaw Public Schools will be voting on a similar matter at their school board meeting next week. The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is making the rounds again, stopping around the Great Lakes Bay region for a 4-day weekend starting today. Here's Rick Antonio with this.
My vote
baloney has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R.
The hot dog-shaped wagon will be making its way from Covington, Louisiana on a 2-day trek straight to Saginaw's SVRC Marketplace for a meet and greet event. That event runs from 1 to 4 p.m. and allows visitors to relish the moment by learning about its history and taking pictures alongside the iconic vehicle. Other meet and greet events have been scheduled in Freeland on Friday the 4th from 3 to 7 at Baines Apple Valley, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Bronner's Christmas Wonderland in Frankenmuth on Saturday, and at St. Lawrence Brothers Nut House from 11 to 1 on Sunday. Franklin said, "You'll want to move your buns because there's no telling when the next visit will be."
Other way with B-O-L-O-G-N-A.
Rick Antonio, News Radio 100.5 and 790.
WSGW News Time 11:07.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your shingles. Everyone loves to save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a Roof Max shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with Roof Max, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
It's time to think about your pig. You know, the propane tank in your backyard that heats your home? Well, there's your pig, then Forward Energy, covering 23 counties. Forward Energy is a family-owned and operated propane supplier that's been fueling area homes, farms, and businesses since 1925. Fill your pig this year. Visit forwardenergy.com to find out about new customer pricing and programs.
Go forward with Forward Energy.
WSGW News Time 11:08. The weather forecast is coming up next. The state of Michigan has sued the owner and dam, alleging that its mismanaged drawdown of a lake to do repairs created sediment that has choked the 30-mile stretch of the Kalamazoo River, impeded recreational use, and threatened public safety. The lawsuit filed Tuesday seeks compensation for damages along with an order to restore the ecosystems of the river and Morrow Lake and clean up sediment deposits that in some places are 12 feet deep. The defendants are Eagle Creek Renewable Energy and its subsidiary STS Hydropower, owner and operator of the dam in Kalamazoo County. As car makers like Ford transition to new ways of doing business, they need to make some tough choices. Autobeat reporter Jeff Gilbert has this report.
Ford executives being very careful about what they say, but they admit as they bring in people with new skills, there may be some with skills that aren't needed anymore. As head of Ford Blue, the legacy models, Kumar Galhotra says they need to get leaner.
As we are moving towards a much leaner organization, everything is on the table. And when we would be very thoughtful about it, would be very transparent about it.
There are other ways of becoming lean, including fewer combinations of vehicles, but Ford is committed to $3 billion worth of cuts.
The Michigan Supreme Court is being urged to overturn key decisions and extend the state's anti-discrimination law to gays and lesbians. People who claim discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation have not been protected by Michigan civil rights law because the word sex in the law has been interpreted only as a reference to gender. General Dana Nessel says it's time for the Supreme Court to recognize Michigan's anti-bias law means much more. In 2019, Rouch World, a park and an event center in Sturgis, declined to host a same-sex wedding, say it conflicted with the owner's religious beliefs, but lawyers for Rouch World say it's up to the legislature and not the courts. WSGW News Time 11:10. I'm Mike Percha.
Here's your WSGW weatherology forecast. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for your day today with a high into the upper 20s. Winds out of the northwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for tonight, near 16. Friday, partial sunshine develops, a high of 36 degrees. Then by Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, a high around 50. Sunday, partial sunshine, breezy, high around 58. And on Monday, a chance for snow showers here, cloudy, high around 36. Tuesday, partial sunshine, high 39 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 24.
Now, It's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
Well, good morning to you, and welcome to another edition of Focus from my Saginaw Spirit Home studio. I'm Art Lewis, and our program brought to you by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online, roofmax.com, or call Ben at 989-859-6751. RoofMax, and that's RoofMax spelled with 2 X's. All right, we're going to talk about Auburn today and find out what's happening in that community in our midst. Let's see who's with us this morning. Hi, who's this?
This is Robin. I am the events coordinator for the city of Auburn.
Hi, Robin. Good to talk to you again. What's happening in terms of immediacy in Auburn? Anything happening in the near future?
Well, this is not exactly near future, but I'm really excited to announce that we received a grant from the DNR. So we will be refurbishing our 1.2 mile path around the lake in Auburn Park. It is going to be a 10-foot wide hard surface path. So folks of all abilities are going to be able to use it. So that is coming in soon, and that project will start this fall.
And tell everybody where the park is.
We are located at 200 JC Drive. We are right off of 9 Mile Road. It's also called Auburn Road in Auburn, Michigan, of course. And you can also access that right off US 10.
Now, where is it located relative to the highway? How far from the highway?
Well, if you are on the highway, you can see the park. You'll see
You're looking
big
at it.
green
That's,
roof.
yep.
You are looking at it. So our farmers up, it takes place right underneath that roof, so we are safe from the weather. That starts June 14th. We will be open Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2:30 until 5:30. And I am lots of new vendors for this year. So I don't know if folks know this out there, but our farmers are kind of a dying breed, our folks that sell us our fresh produce, our fresh local produce. So I'm looking for some new produce vendors for this year. And we also accept folks who do cottage industry products and also baked goods, arts and crafts. So please call me at 989-225-0129. Email us anytime. It is auburnfm@gmail.com, and I will send you an application for our farm market.
And typically, what's your operating season and when are you open with the market?
We usually open around the 15th of June, so the Tuesday that's closest to the 15th, and then we are in operation till that last week of September. And then typically the weekend after that, we have our big Halloween Days extravaganza, and we had 99 vendors last year. It's always a great weekend, so that's going to be coming up as well.
And vendors, how many roughly do you have?
So our farmers market kind of varies. I do have room under the vendors. We are kind of a fledgling market. So when I started a few years ago, there were only 3 or 4 vendors, and we had 26 registered vendors last year. So we are growing and building. This year is going to be our first year we are able to accept SNAP. It's a food assistance program. So we'll have SNAP. We will have the WIC Project Fresh program and the Market Fresh program as well. All of those food assistance ways of purchasing food will be accepted.
And again, what's the target date for opening?
We will be opening on Tuesday, June 14th. But before that, we have our first ever lawn and garden extravaganza. It's going to be one Saturday in May. It is the 21st, and there's a lot of stuff. And so it's a perfect weekend to put on your calendar, as well as the lawn and garden extravaganza, where we will have plants, seeds, trees, hanging baskets, all kinds of fun gardening art. We also have a gentleman who will sharpen your gardening tools, is going to be underneath the pavilion. And that's also the same weekend that the Lions Club Treasure Hunt Days is happening. And that's going to be happening on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, May 19, 20, and 21. So if you are a rummage sale king or queen, you're going to want to come to Auburn and check that out. And it's also the same week Awareness Festival is happening, and that is put on by Foster Care Families NRC right here in Auburn.
Wow, nothing going on in Auburn.
I know it's a small town, and I think folks don't realize we really are kind of a happening little town. So that is coming up.
All right, Robin, hang on. I got to take a break, and we'll come back and talk more.
Sure.
We're talking to Robin, who's the events coordinator for Auburn, and we will have more after these notes. First of all, how was your sleep last night? Because you know today we're asked to do more for less. So when you go to bed, theoretically, you spend a third of your life there. You need quality sleep, and you can get it with a quality mattress from my friends at Sanitary Mattress. You can visit all the so-called sleep stores, or you can rest assured the mattress you're using is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region, and it's done to your specifications. Your dollars are spent, and they stay right here in our local economy. Your time in bed may be cut short by today's demanding world, but don't be fooled. You can still get a quality good night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. And by the way, they feature 1-hour window delivery of your mattress to your home. You don't have to wait around all day for them, which is kind of nice. Also, if you have an RV or a boat, they will custom make a mattress for you, something the box stores can't do. Visit Sanitary Mattress Factory and Showroom, serving this area since 1935. Set your GPS to 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, east of the Harry Brown Airport. Visit them on the web at sanitarymattress.com or call them at 989-753-1757.
We're proud to you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer? A big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data in unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TrackPhone in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at trackphone.com.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
Broadcasting from the premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center Studios. This is WSGW.
All right, we're back with you talking to Robin from Auburn. So, Robin, the last time we talked, I think I heard something about another park in Auburn, not the Auburn Park, but another park that was being redeveloped.
Actually, yes, we have a piece of property. It's a 25-acre piece of property. It's located out on 9 Mile Road. It is being developed into the range. It is a multi-use park that will have usability for the whole year round. So we'll have winter, summer, spring, fall, things going on out there. There's a fantastic sledding hill already built. But the really cool thing about the range is it is going to be the first professionally designed disc golf course in Bay County. So all you just hang tight. It is going to be coming late August, early September. And we're always looking for volunteers to help. We're putting our bridges together right now that kind of traverse the creeks out there. So it's total cross-country, really cool property to play disc golf on.
So you say that's going to be ready this year?
Yes. It's been in development for a while. We did receive a fantastic grant from the Healthy Living Fund from the Bay Area Community Foundation to develop that property. And we got slowed up a little, as a lot of folks did with construction, et cetera. But we are plugging away and we'll be ready this year.
Let's talk about the Auburn, the center of Auburn, where Midland Road runs right through the middle of you. How are the business doing in Auburn?
Actually, things are kind of building up a little bit. Like everyone else, things got a little scary during COVID. We had some folks that had to, of course, not shut down, but they had to diminish some of their hours. But things are building back, tight-knit, really community-focused area. So we had lots of businesses help each other so that we could survive through COVID. And then, of course, our grant writing, we've got a wonderful grant team, and we've had over $1 million come in to the city over the last 18 months to help develop business parks, our infrastructure. So we are very lucky to have that team put together.
All right, so let's talk about information. If someone wanted information on Auburn, some of the happenings in Auburn, where would they go?
Actually, they can call me. My number is 225-0129. I have 2 emails. But if you want information about Auburn, you can email me at outreach@auburnmi.org. And I will be happy to give you information. So if you're looking for anything from an application to one of our fantastic events, to host an event, if you want to have an event in Auburn in our park, you of course would fill out an application for commission, and they vote on that. So if you need something like that, you can get a hold of me. And really just anything Auburn, email me or call me, and I'm happy to give information.
And is there a website? Does Auburn have a website?
Yes, it is auburnmi.org. It's very easy to get to. We are going to be under construction there in a little while. We're developing a new website, so just hang tight with us. We do have the old one up right now, so there's tons of information there. So you can find pretty much anything you're looking for on that website, but if you have difficulty, just call me or email me.
All right, Robin, we appreciate your time this morning, and we'll chat with you again.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks for being with us. Bye-bye now.
Thanks, Art.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Robin at Auburn Outreach. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the Auburn Park right off the highway there. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot if you've never been there. We'll take our last break and then be back to close out here on WSGW.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well thought out financial plan can make the difference